Let me talk about iterators in C++. Iterators are objects of classes designed to generalize pointers to be useful for pointing to and iterating through the elements of containers such as std_vector, std_list, std_forward_list, std_dequeue for sequential access. First, let me begin with an example demonstrating the use of a pointer to iterate through an array, and I'll come to the iterator discussion in a moment. First, let me create an array. Size, let me define size of array 12, and I have array of size initialized to values 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99, 110, 121, 132. So I have 12 values, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 12 values. So I can have a pointer called iptr, and I can make it pointer to point to the first element, and I can access data, the first data is the syntax, and I can increment the pointer, and then I can access the data through the same pointer, but now at this point it is pointing to I think it is first, second, third, fourth element. So it should display the fourth element, and I can decrement it, and then I can use the same pointer to access a different element. Right, let me show the output of this code. So compilation and linking and execution. So 11, 44, 22 are the elements. First element was displayed first in the beginning, and then fourth element was 44, and then minus is the second element. So first element was displayed by this cout statement, and then fourth element was displayed, and then second element was displayed. And it is also possible that I can iterate in a loop through this pointer, equals to, I can initialize to the first element first, and then I can continue this until I can increment the pointer, and the exit condition in this case is going to be when this iptr is not equals to the address of minus last address plus 1, right? So if we want to iterate from the first address, then we can continue iterating, and then it will continue until the address becomes the address of the last element plus address, that means the next after last. So with this we are able to access all the elements through this pointer and display in one single line as a vector. Right, so this should allow us to display all these elements 11, 22, 33 in this one in a single line separated by space. So output of this code is I think there is, I think there was a I actually wanted to write minus, it happened equals. So now you can see all the elements displayed 11, 22, 33, 44, 56, right? So this is this example actually gives a way of understanding how iterator would work in the container. The way this pointer is being used to access or iterate through all the elements of this array, in the same way an iterator would is an object which can hold a pointer to the first element of the container, and you can use this kind of syntax to make it iterate through the elements in the case of container. So let me demonstrate the use of container. I'm going to be using container in this place. So here let me create a vector. For that I need to include the library that is needed, and vector object name integer vector, and I want to populate this with this vector with this elements, array elements for int a. So this will actually create a new vector and insert all these elements in that vector. This data 11, 22, 33, 44, and so on and so forth. Now if I want to access the element using an iterator in the way we have used this pointer to access these array elements, we can create an iterator object, and the syntax for creating object is as follows: int, and then you first write the type of the object and scope resolution and the keyword iterator. So this is the type of the iterator, and we can call it IT, the name, right? With this we are able to make it point to the first element of this vector I vector. So like we have done here in the case of array, so we can make it point to the first element as follows. So this is the function begin is the function which returns iterator to the first element, so we are able to access it. So if I want to display that data, I can dereference using this iterator like before, like in this case, and I can increment plus 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 IT, and again I can display the data, and I can decrement right, and so we can do this, and then I'll come to how we can do this. We can make it use it to iterate in a loop. So first let me show the output of this code that I have added here. Compile and execute. So now you can see the 11, 44, 22, these three items are actually displayed from the vector. From the array it was displayed using the pointer, but in this case it was the iterator that was used to access elements of the vector. Now we can also make this iterator to iterate through in the container, like in this way, the way we have done here. So we can put it in for loop. You can initialize it to the first element, like we have initialized to the first element here, address of the first element. So it's going to be, and we can continue iterating until it is not equals to end. This end function returns iterator to the element next to the last. Like in this case, this is going to be an address of element next to the last element, not last but next to the last. In this case also it will return address next to the last. And you can increment iterator and you display the data using iterator, and new line, right? So this should display the data in this format. In this place it will display data like this. So now you can see that data being displayed through the use of iterator, right? Now this is these are the functions. Let me repeat it again. Begin is a function that comes with a container. End is a function that comes with a container. The purpose is to return purpose of begin is to return the iterator pointing to the first element of the container. The purpose of end is to return the address, and the iterator pointing to the element next to the last element. And you can also, for example, in this case it will allow me to make changes to the data. For example, if I add 2 to all the elements, then that is allowed, because the iterator allows access to the data for it being changed as well. So now the data was initially 11, 12, 11, 22, 33, but now after adding 2 to each element, it becomes 13, 24, 35, 46, and so on and so forth. But if you don't want this code to make any changes, then you can use cbegin and cend. So this will return constant iterator, something called. So it will not allow data to be changed through this iterator that was written by this cbegin. So if I compile this code, it should run into an issue. So now you can see so this assignment is not allowed, and if we are actually getting iterator through this function. And also, if you want to iterate in the reverse order, for example, I want to iterate from last to the first. In this case, it will iterate from the first to last, and I want to iterate from the last to first. Then I would do something like this. Equals to reverse begin, and it not equals to rend it plus plus. So it will actually begin from the last element, and then it will go up to the first element. Right. So let's see the output. Let me go back to the code and try to see what happened. Okay, the problem looks to be because this was iterator, it was for iterator, so we cannot use this because it was declared as a for iterator. So you need to declare this as a reverse iterator if you want to use it in the reverse order. So let me use a different name for reverse iterator. And IT. So I should not be using this constant here. Right, so you can see the reverse iterator has displayed the data in the reverse order. So this was the for iterator or regular iterator displaying data in this order, but the reverse iterator has displayed in this order. So one additional thing I want to demonstrate here is iterator for, you can use the same syntax to iterate for list. Let me demonstrate that it also works for list. So for the list, I would create a list instead of vector, and pushback is allowed in list, so list iterator, and list I want to just remove this thing. I don't want this anymore. So I hope it is okay. If there's a problem, then I will come back and fix it. So now it is this is the outcome of the vectors, the same output, but it was iterator applied with the vector container, right? Sorry, for the list container, and again you can apply this for DQ. So therefore with DQ, I think, so this is outcome with DQ and forward list. In the forward list, we will run into one issue. Then I'll come back and fix it. So let me first execute, see the output error. Definitely I'll get error. So, and then I'll come back. So we have a lot of errors. So pushback is not something that is not allowed. So pushback is the function that is not available with for list, and reverse iterator is not available. So in the for list there is only one way iteration, because this is not two-way linked list. So we cannot use reverse iterator, and we cannot use pushback. So we need to push front if we want to use forward list, and we cannot use reverse iterator. So compile again. This is also the one thing that actually is related to reverse iterator. So this in decrement is actually iterating, is about iterating in the reverse order. So this is also not allowed in forward list. So now it is working with forward list, but in the reverse order: 131, 120. I mean, it was pushed from the front. For example, 11, and then 22 was pushed not on the back, but on the front, front. So it started from the front, and it actually displayed all the data. So this is all I wanted to talk about iterator, cbegin and end function to return the iterator, constant iterator return, reverse begin and end, and also there is something called reverse constant begin and end. You can explore if you're interested. Thank you for watching.